Hi, it's Nikki here from Happy Hormones for Life, and today I've got the pleasure of one of our lovely clients, Natalie, with me, who's agreed to come and chat with me about her experience of working with us. So welcome, Natalie. Thanks so much for joining me.
Hi, thanks for having me.
What were you struggling with when you came to see us?
Um, my main symptom, I guess, was chronic migraine. I'm talking maybe 22 migraine days a month. So it was a struggle, and that was definitely my main concern. But on top of that, I had crippling anxiety, and quite bad PMS symptoms, mood swings, etc. And I had no energy.
Yeah, and how old are you? Can I just ask you?
Yeah, so I'm 36.
Right, and you've got a little baby as well?
Yeah, I've got two. So I've got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. So life is really busy, and I didn't have time for that. I'm required to run on 100% plus each day, and I just didn't have it to give because of those symptoms. So yeah, that's why I approached you guys.
And how bad were the migraines? Were you able to carry on functioning, or did you have to go and lie in a dark room, or how did that work?
Yeah, it varied. I mean, sometimes they were go and lie in a dark room for a day. My husband would have to take time off work. When mum's not well, it affects everyone in the household. So, I might have been laid upstairs in bed for maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 days of the month. And then the rest of the time, there was always I always just had a migraine. I used to wake up with it and go to bed with it. So whilst I could still function, it was just a functional day, and I was just trying to get through the days. And I don't want to live my life like that. I've got 2 young children that I want to be present, and I want for them to have the best version of me, and they weren't getting that because I just wasn't myself.
Yeah, and actually you were only yourself for about a few days of the month by the sounds of it.
Yeah, and I felt like I had to get everything done in those few days of the month. So as soon as I knew that I had a day where my migraine wasn't bad and I didn't feel that wash of anxiety come over me in the morning, I was then like, right, let's go out and do this, that and the other, because I feel okay. So everything was on my terms, and also I would be running at 110% on those days, which would then lead to a lapse the following days. So it was no way to live, really. It was a struggle, and it went on probably for about 5 years like that.
And had you tried anything else? Had you been to the GP, or had you tried anything yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I've had to write down all the things that I've tried. I've been to most people, I think. So, I mean, I started off being referred to the neurologist. I had CT scans. I was prescribed 3 really quite strong migraine prophylactic treatments, and they were very, very strong. So they sort of knock you out. There's side effects associated with them. And then I went on from those tablets to then having a steroid like nerve blocker injected into my neck and my head. So I did that. I did a few rounds of that over 6 months, no change. I went to one GP and I was prescribed the mini pill. And then I was prescribed the combined pill, which was particularly bad for me, that I really, really hit the deck taking that. And I wasn't on it for very long, but it has certainly left its mark, that experience. And now, knowing what I know, I can see that was completely the wrong avenue for me. But I did it because you think that everyone is acting in your best interest, and that was not in my best interest. So yeah, I had both of the pills. I was almost obviously prescribed antidepressants, anti-anxiety tablets, which again, the antidepressants didn't had quite an adverse reaction to the antidepressants, so I was never on them very long, and actually came off them feeling an awful lot worse than what I went on them. I've seen therapists. I've seen 3 different therapists. I've tried acupuncture and yoga, and went down that route. And I actually even tried a meditation app where you subscribe, and you try and convince yourself through meditation that these issues aren't an issue. And I really tried, but I just couldn't. Like, they were too big of an issue for me to just leave at the door. So I was disappointed, but again, I decided that maybe meditation and just ignoring the symptoms wasn't really going to do much good for me. So yeah, I've explored quite a few avenues, and I've seen an awful lot of medical professionals, NHS, private, neurologists, haematologists, private GPs. I've seen quite a few along the way.
Wow, that is some history, isn't it? So you signed up for doing some testing with us because we wanted to find out, what may have been causing them in the first place, or what kind of imbalances might be causing those migraines. So what did you find out?
I found out that my estrogen was on the higher limit and my progesterone was on the lower limit. So there was quite an imbalance there.
Yeah. What did you change? What protocols did you put in place?
Targeted supplements that would help support my liver and my metabolism to try and get rid of all of the excess estrogen that was floating around my system. I was told to avoid foods with a high glycemic load, to try and keep my blood sugar as constant as possible through the day, which really has been a game changer for me. It is information that I wish I knew when I was younger. That really, I think, has been the key to unlocking a lot of the success that I've had, just that point alone. My breakfasts really are they're like my rocket fuel now. I really do use them to set myself up for the day, and that's been another sort of game changer for me. My breakfasts, so that they were all really, really big changes for me, but they've all worked, each and every one of them. It's been amazing.
And what have been the results? What are you feeling now? What has changed the most?
Gosh, it has changed everything. I've never ever felt this good in my whole life. I feel the best that I've ever felt. The changes came within maybe 2 or 3 days for me, and I immediately knew my head felt so different. The anxiety had lifted from. I always used to say to my husband that I could feel the anxiety just washed over me, like through my veins. I could feel it. It wasn't just a worry. It was a feeling that washed over me. It was gone. I had so much energy, and more energy than I've ever had, even when I was younger. And I just felt like this huge cloud had lifted. And I remember going through, or Danielle sending me the results of my tests, and I went through them with her, and I remember getting off the phone and just crying with such relief. It makes me choke up now, because finally the things that I've been saying to all of these medical professionals for 5 or 6 years were validated. They were there in black and white, and there was someone there who believed in that and that could help me. And the relief, I can't describe it. And it was a real, it was a real moment. I remember coming down to my husband and just being really emotional about that, what just happened. And I will remember that because it has been so life-changing. So yeah, the results were very quick, and I felt like I was living in a dream, and I still do. And I sound like I'm being incredibly dramatic, but I'm not. When you've lived for so long, and it's been such a struggle, and it affects your whole family. You're so desperately searching for an answer or a way just to make it better, and you feel that pressure because life doesn't stop for anyone. It still keeps going, and I want to be present. I want to do the best that I can for my children, and to finally someone has cracked it and it's been given to me, and all I've got to do is change my diet and my lifestyle. It's as simple as that. And it's incredible and very, very quick changes I found.
It's amazing, isn't it, the impact that food has on your body and your mental state as well. It's incredible. It always astounds me, actually, when we get results like this. I know it myself, but when I see it in practice, it always still surprises me how quickly you can feel better when you're eating the right things for you, in your body. And that's not the same for everyone, but it sounds like you made exactly the right change. And what about the migraines, Natalie?
How they've been improved, do you mean? Or
yeah, have they are you still getting migraines?
No, in short, I think my last one was back in July, so which was literally just before I started the program. Now I've had migraines since I was about 16 years old. I wish that I would have known all of this information sooner, because it genuinely would have changed actually what have been quite difficult points in my life every month. So to not have had a migraine for 5 months, that's the first time that's happened since I was maybe 16 years old. So it's incredible, and I still feel like, is that right? Like, is it just going to creep back? But after 3, 4, 5 months, I have just accepted that maybe they are gone now. And any of my friends and family will vouch that they have just been the bane of my life, migraines. I've missed a lot. We've had to cancel a lot over the years. And the thought now of not having to do that, when I look at the calendar to book things in, I don't have to consider where am I in my cycle. Is that going to suit? We can't do it this weekend because of this, and I don't have to do that anymore. So I really do still feel like I'm just living in a dream world.
I just want to congratulate you, Natalie, though, because we can show people what to do. We can show them what changes can be made, but it's only you that can actually implement those changes and really make that happen. So you did that, and you were on it from day one. And I just think that's just the power of commitment. And I know you kind of felt like maybe you didn't have a choice, but you still had to do and make those changes. And it sounds like there were some big changes in there for you as well. So well done you for doing that, because it's hard. It's not easy to make those kind of changes when you've lived like that for a long time as well. So you did amazingly well in just embracing everything and trusting us as well. And after all the mishaps you'd had and all the wrong advice you'd been given, to trust us that one more time so that you could actually make that progress. So that's down to you. So you need to take all the credit for that. It's not cheap an investment, is it? So I kind of know the answer to this, but just let me know if there was anything kind of worry about the money you're spending, or do you think it was just so well spent that it's kind of priceless, the results you get, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I've been given a lifeline, and I sincerely mean that. My children will thank me for doing this years down the line, because I'm more present than I've ever been. And for the price less than a holiday, it is an absolute no-brainer. And I tell my friends about this. I could talk about this for ages because I've been so affected by it. And I know just how bad I felt. So it's not cheap, but it's the best investment I've ever made. And it's not just for me, it's for my family as well. And do you know what? I would pay it 3, 4, 5 times over. And I mean that genuinely, because it's given me my life back. I can live now. And also I can live in the knowledge that once I reach perimenopause, menopause, there's actually a service out there that I know works and I know can support me. And I think it's a relief, and it just gives you that bit of backup that if I need you again, you're there.
We are.
And I think that's priceless as well, knowing that there's a service and people that can support you and that it works for you. So some people spend more than that on a mini break in this country. So why would you not spend that on your health,
on yourself? And like you say, it's not you, is it? It's your whole family and your children that are reaping the benefits of this. I always say that when we get women back to their best selves, the ripple effect is huge. It's your immediate family, it's your extended family, it's all your friends and your community and your work colleagues. Everybody benefits from you being a better person. And that's why I always say it's never selfish to invest in yourself, because it has such a much bigger impact than you'll ever know. Thank you so much for chatting with me. It's been enlightening. I feel so proud of what you've achieved. And I know it's achievable for many other women too. So I really appreciate you taking the time to share your journey, because I know it will inspire a lot of women. So thank you so much, Natalie.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. Thanks for everything.